Everybody Dies, a poem on the inevitability of death and the futility of fighting against this fact. Everybody dies. Even I'm going to die and get buried in my coffin, but my soul will go from my body to the other place where I will live forever, worshiping Jah Almighty. Blind old Jacob died. After he gave his last instructions, Jacob drew his feet up into the bed and under the covers. He breathed out his last gasp of air, and from his slack mouth boomed a fierce death rattle. They put Jacob in a coffin, and Jacob's son, Joseph, threw himself onto his father's coffin as they lowered it into the ground, 6 feet down. And he wept and kissed the lid of the coffin his dead father, Jacob, lay in. Everybody dies. Even I'm going to die, get buried in my coffin, but my soul will go from my body to the other place where I'll live forever, worshiping Jah Almighty. When Moshe lay dying, before he died, he wrote a song, and the people sang the song over and over again. When Moshe died, his people, the children of Israel, mourned him loudly and sang his song. Moshe died on Mount Nebo. They buried him in Moab. You see, everybody dies. Even I'm going to die and get buried in my coffin, but my soul will go from my body to the other place where I will live forever, worshiping Jah Almighty. After ruling Israel for 40 years, King David died in Jerusalem. They put him in a coffin and bury him with his dead in what they now call the city of David. And thousands of years later, we still sing the songs of the songwriting High King of Israel, David. Everybody dies. Even I'm going to die and get buried in my coffin. But my soul will go from my body to the other place where I will live forever, worshiping Jah Almighty. Abel died. Abel died when his brother Cain became focused on jealousy and pride and grew so spiritually ill that he killed his brother Abel by dashing out Abel's brains on a large rock and hid his body in the wheat fields that his father Adam and he farmed. Abel was the first human being to die. And that first person died through violence and hate at the hands of his brother. Jah comes to Cain and asks him, Cain, where's your brother Abel? And Cain says, what? Am I supposed to be taking care of my brother now too? Is he my responsibility now too? Everybody dies. Even I'm going to die and get buried in my coffin, but my soul will go from my body to the other place where I will live forever worshiping Jah Almighty. Jah brought Cain to Abel's body that lay bloody on the ground, surrounded by a yellow field of wheat. Cain confessed to Jah, I murdered my brother. Jah sends Cain away, saying, what have you done? Your brother's blood, Abel's blood, soaks in the earth and cries out to me. Cain, what did you do? You've killed your brother. You've killed your mother's son. You've killed your father's son. You've killed my child, my boy, Abel. You'll now be forced to walk the planet Earth in exile, and everyone will know what you've done. Your work on your farm will be nearly impossible, backbreaking work, and you'll only produce small crops because you killed a human being. Because you killed your brother, Abel. Everybody dies. Even I'm going to die and get buried in my coffin, but my soul will go from my body to the other place where I will live forever worshiping Jah Almighty. Now, when Cain heard his punishments from Jah, he erupted inside with dread and anxiety and shouted out to Jah, no, please. Your punishments are more than I can bear. People will beat me and try to kill me everywhere I go. Jah said to Cain, no, they won't. Everyone on the planet Earth will know that whoever beats up or kills Cain will get sentenced to 7 times the punishments I gave him. Jah put a mark on Cain's face so that everyone would know instinctively that it meant not to beat or kill Cain. Cain took his wife and they moved to the town of Nod, east of Eden. You see, everybody dies. Even I'm going to die and get buried in my coffin. But my soul will go from my body to the other place where I will live forever, worshiping Jah Almighty. Everybody dies, yes, but only Jah's children will live again and live forever through Yeshua the Christ. Yeshua said that the greatest act of love is to die so that others may live. Stephen Martyr was a young man of 18. He was a member of the first church started by the 12 disciples, and he was the first human being to die as a martyr while preaching the name and word of his imperial royal majesty, the risen, transfigured Christ that sits at the right hand of Jah in the throne room in the other place. The religious hypocrites accuse Stephen of blasphemy and stone him right there in public. Stephen's killed by his own people. As the angry crowd throw rocks at Stephen's head and body, Stephen sees a vision of his imperial royal majesty, Yeshua the Christ, sitting at the right hand of Jah in the throne room in the other place. And he died knowing for sure that Yeshua was Jah and Yeshua was Christ. and that his death was important, and that very soon he'd be in the other place, worshiping at Jah's throne. Everybody dies. Even I'm going to die and get buried in my coffin, but my soul will go from my body to the other place where I will live forever, worshiping Jah Almighty. Stephen closed his eyes and his body died to serve Jah by giving his life so others would believe. Jah gave Stephen strength and courage because of his unwavering faith in Christ and Jehovah God Jah Almighty. And in seconds after his body died, Stephen stood before Jah's throne in a robe with a golden hem in the New Jerusalem, in Jah's other place, and he was filled with joy. And he was made whole, and he worshiped before Jah's throne with exuberance he never felt before, from the act of standing before Almighty Jah and feeling Jah's pure, true love pulse through him. Everybody dies. Even I'm going to die and get buried in my coffin. But my soul will go from my body to the other place where I will live forever, worshiping Jah Almighty. Thank you.